George Mason University has a tradition of having a graduating senior address their fellow students at commencement, and we are pleased to continue that tradition here today. Our 2024 student speaker is Zayd Hamid, who's graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Public Administration. Zayd is an active student leader at our university, including on President Washington's Student Advisory Board. In 2023, he was the first recipient of Student Advocate of the Year from the National Institute for Lobbying and Ethics. A first-generation Guyanese American student, Zayd represented George Mason on Capitol Hill at a panel briefing on federal financial aid programs. He's also served as a new student orientation leader and resident advisor, among many other roles on our campus. Last fall, Zayd was featured in a story in the publication Inside Higher Ed, and that article referred to him as an aspiring university president. Not provost, I noticed, but president. That's good news for the future of higher education. Please welcome Zayd Hamid.
Thank you. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Okay. Graduates of the class of 2024, President Washington, Mason faculty and staff, families, and honored guests. My name is Zayd Hamid, and alongside being your commencement student speaker, I've served in numerous leadership roles during my time here as an undergraduate. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience. Some of you studied with me in the Shar School. Yeah, give it up, give it up. Some of you in my honors college classes. Some of you were resident advisors with me. Some of you Patriot leaders. And I see some friends from Mason Recreation in the audience too. Woo, that's right. Best department on campus, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. At Mason Recreation's last summer training, our executive director, Dr. Sheldon Tate, began his speech by asking, "Why are you here? Why are you here?" I couldn't give him an answer then, but I've started to think about it. My answer begins by affirming that I'm a graduate of Manassas Park High School, a Title I institution receiving federal funds to support poor and minority students. Woo! I was one of those students. I'm a first-generation Guyanese American student, and I received free school lunch during high school because of my family's lack of income. I took my AP exams discounted, and I got 4s and 5s on most of them, transferring in a little over 50 credits. And I still rely on federal funding. Just like I did to eat in high school, I rely on it to study here. Funding like the federal Pell Grant that I receive like a third of Mason students. Pell Grant recipients, give it up for yourself. You got here. I advocated for the federal Pell Grant on Capitol Hill 2 months ago with the Student Aid Alliance. And I advocated for every single one of those Pell Grant recipients in the audience. I advocated also for federal work study recipients. At Mason Recreation, I participated in federal work study. I got here because of those investments in me. And I got here because of the advocates and supporters who have helped me. Peer mentors, like my freshman year RA, Sean Diamond, in the audience. Student body president, Sophia Nguyen, another incredible mentor of mine. University mentors, like Professor David Rare and University Life Vice President Rose Pascarell. And, of course, my family. My mom and dad are sitting here in the audience. Thank you. I wouldn't have gotten here without them. My work ethic and my resourcefulness, those are gifts from my mother. But my stage presence and my booming voice, that's all Dad. That booming, unquietable voice has been heard in the Virginia General Assembly, where for the last 3 years, I've helped lead the university's annual legislative fly-in in Richmond, Mason Lobbies. Since 2013, Mason students have traveled to Richmond to support our university's ability to fund services that we rely on. And my leadership in Mason Lobbies has led to my recognition as the first ever Student Advocate of the Year by the National Institute for Lobbying and Ethics. Thank you. At the award ceremony for that in October, I met another Mason alumnus who went on that same journey years ago. His name was Bill McCabe, and he's on the board of directors for the National Institute for Lobbying and Ethics now, himself a top 100 lobbyist recognized. We are part of that legacy. I echoed Bill McCabe and hundreds of other Mason students who've been there before me whenever I go to Richmond. And I am proud to have represented Mason in meetings with legislators like Delegate Michelle Maldonado, Delegate Will Moorfield, and Senator Danica Rome. Danica actually represents my hometown, Manassas Park, in the legislature, and we've known each other for years. When I was in my high school's senior class council, I set up a meeting with her for us over Zoom. And among other things, she advised me and my team to be true to ourselves and ensure that others see us and know us for our authentic selves. I've done my best to follow her. Advice. And as a Mason student, that wasn't hard. Leading with authenticity is the only way that we know how to lead. I'm proud of who I am and where I come from. I come from Guyana. I come from Manassas Park. And all of us, we come from the best institution in Virginia, George Mason University. Four years after I met her for the first time, I came to her office for Mason Lobbies, representing my university proudly, wearing our signature green and gold scarf. Chatting over hot oat milk chai lattes, we shared stories about Mason and its impact across the Commonwealth. And a few hours later, I was selected as one of the students represented as part of the university delegation to the Virginia State Senate. Senator Jeremy McPike, himself a dedicated Mason alumnus representing Virginia's 29th district, introduced us while wearing his own green and gold scarf. I'm telling you, Mason alumni, we have a sense of style. We rose to his introduction, recognizing that the torch was passed from one generation of Mason graduates to the next. It is our time. Our lives were changed inalterably by a global pandemic 4 years ago. And now is our time to return the favor and change the world in only ways we can. I finally have an answer to Tate's question of why I am here. I am here to be a change maker for justice. And I'm supporting Mason alumnus and former Virginia Secretary of Education, Atif Carney, in the audience there, in his campaign for Virginia's 10th Congressional District, because he, like so many other Mason alumni, are working to advance global justice. Justice. That is what makes a Mason alumnus altogether different. In his recent statement supporting the nationwide peaceful student protests for Palestine, Atif asserted that throughout U.S. history, mass movements of justice are led by young people. He said it's because our generation has a keener sense of justice than older, more jaded generations. His words, not mine. His words echo a sentiment that I hear often from President Washington, that it's up to our generation to solve the grand challenges facing humanity, that we are the only ones who can. That's it. It's up to us. We face unprecedented global challenges, including the genocide affecting Palestine and the climate crisis affecting our entire world. And to face them, we join other alumni like Sean, Sophia, Rose, Bill, Jeremy, and Atif in facing those challenges as a Mason nation. We are ready to solve this world's grand challenges and build just societies. But before we go off and save the world, I'll leave you with one last remark. The class of 2024 went from completing the Mason Daily COVID Health Check to completing a Mason degree. And I think that's something worth celebrating. So congratulations, class of 2024, and thank you